Hello, pod lovers. Welcome to another See You Next Tuesday Liverpool podcast. Today we'll be discussing the unstoppable, unyielding, unrelenting behemoth that is Liverpool Football Club. 16 Premier League games, 15 victories, 40 goals scored, 46 points taken, and 1 defeat in 55. Unprecedented statistics. The beast shows no signs of abating. I'm back, Princess. How much have you missed and pined for me?
Oh, wait, am I allowed to speak now? Sorry, I thought we were still giving you your Christmas present here. I was under orders not to speak for the first half hour or something while you did your monologue. So, Merry Christmas. Hope you enjoyed it, because that's the only time I'm going to be quiet this week.
Yeah, I thought you'd love that. Give me a Christmas present. Doesn't cost anything, you cheap
Hey,
B-word.
that was hard, trust me. If it wasn't I could switch my mic off, I'd have never have managed to go that long.
You'd do the whole world a favour if you switch your mic off, mate. Listen, unbelievable
harsh.
Statistics.
That
Listen,
hurts.
mate.
Just because it's true doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
You'll get over it one day. Remarkable statistics, eh?
I mean, it's reminiscent of the 80s, to be honest, isn't it? You know, the early 80s. And well, we were just unreal to watch as well. You know, we just dominated the game. You know, the last one in particular was just incredible.
Yeah, it was a big red machine in the 80s, you're right, and the 90s. And it's just going back to the glory days, yeah. It really is. This is what this is what Liverpool fans of a certain age are used to.
You mean?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
This is what
like
we've
yourself.
been used to. This is what I was brought up on.
Obviously, it was before my time, but I just remember it from stories some old people told me.
It's like me, yeah. Me telling you how it used to be. When I say I've been brought up on domination, I mean like Liverpool winning everything, not being chained and beaten up and stuff.
That's not the stories you normally tell, I've got to say.
All right, mate. So we haven't done a podcast for a few weeks.
Thank God for that.
I think you missed me.
So
I think we should take it. I think we should take this back to the 10th of November and look at the start. Look at the City game where we prevailed 3-1. I think this was the day we came out of City's shadow. I honestly believe that, and showed the world and really underlined to Man City that footballing power has shifted.
Well, I can see what you mean, but I think it was already from the start of the season the way City had been struggling. I think it already done it for us, to be honest. But that just killed it off mentally for them. I think that was the moment it killed them.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think this was it. Just put the final nail in the coffin for me.
Yeah, I think it really. You could see it in the players' faces afterwards that they suddenly thought this isn't going to be our year. Might not be our year yet, to be fair, but. It doesn't seem like, you can't imagine it being City winning it this year, not the way they're playing.
Listen, mate, I can't have Brendan Rodgers winning the title. I just can't do that to myself.
That's your worst nightmare, isn't it? After he's been sacked by us to be replaced by Klopp and then beats us to the title with Leicester. That's just... I
think I moved to somewhere without any internet or cable TV. There's got to be a country planet.
Isn't that where you've just spent the last few weeks?
Hey, mate, listen. That's a little bit racist as well, that is.
Well, just assuming that's why you couldn't do the podcasts.
I couldn't do the podcast. I didn't want you anywhere. I wanted to speak to you for 4 weeks.
Yeah, liar. You were texting me every bloody minute.
You did say texting and not sexting, didn't you?
Well, I was trying to be polite, but there was a few elements of, I didn't want to say anything, in case your missus is listening to this one, but we'll just leave it there, all right?
Is this your Me Too bit?
Yeah, it is. It is. I need the hashtag. So how do you do a hashtag? Yeah. I don't even know what key that is, hashtag. That shows how much I use Twitter.
You should be so lucky getting a Me Too thing going on. Anyway, the game itself was an absolute corker. I really thought it was a great advert for the Premier League. It was two football playing sides going at it, hammer and tongs, and thoroughly enjoyable game.
And it was well-deserved win as well.
Yeah, I thought so. And Klopp schooled Pep and exposed Pep's vulnerabilities and insecurities. I thought it was a well-earned win.
Yeah, it was fully deserved. By far the better side. I
know it was a long time ago, but I concur. I know it was a long time ago, but obviously the major talking point was the handball by Trent prior to Fab scoring an absolute corker for us.
Yeah, but he got knocked onto his hand by Bernardo Silva's fist punching it. So
exactly.
if you're gonna give a penalty, surely you have to go back to the original offence and say, well, it was the handball for Bernardo Silva that was the problem.
Nobody really. That's not part of the narrative, though. The media narrative, you know.
Yeah, you can't moan about VAR if they've got it right, can they?
Exactly. What a goal by Fabinho. Oh, golly gosh.
Yeah, it just makes you remember why we're going to miss him then.
Well, we haven't been too badly without him.
Yeah, I say that, yeah, but we could do with him because you can only make up for somebody missing, a key player missing for a certain amount of time before you start to notice it.
Yeah,
we did all right without Alisson, but I wouldn't want to go a full season without him. You know what I mean?
That doesn't even bear thinking about, mate. It really doesn't. That kind of, as I alluded to earlier, that shift in power, the beginning of that shift, the end of that. The shift in power was seriously compounded that day for me. And we just went on. We just went to steamroller them, and it was a very, very savvy and cute performance. And again, Klopp prevailed once again, and he outthought him.
Yeah, and the only thing they've got is to claim that there might have been a handball. That's it. That's their only recourse because they were battered.
I don't believe they have a plan B. Their plan A is very good, but when that doesn't work, they have nothing to. They just keep going with plan A, and I'm surely that a manager of this gravitas and it should
Cruyff never had a plan B either. Shankly never did. Shankly didn't change the way he played mid-game very often either. It's not always your plan A should be to. Plan B should be to do plan A better. I can see that. I don't think that's a problem. The problem is your plan A isn't as good as people make out it is. It's to keep the ball. That's their plan. His plan A is to keep the ball and defend by keeping the ball and tripping people if they try and break on them. That's not, that's the problem. Is their plan A is a crap plan. It only works so long as you can keep getting away with fouls.
So he's been found out pretty much, right? So it's this 3-4 year itch that he has. Every club he goes to is there for 3-4 years, gets found out, and then changes clubs. Now, does he stick or does he twist? Pep, I'm talking about. Obviously.
Well, he's been saying the right things, but yeah, I'm not convinced. When you see him on the sidelines, do you think he looks like a happy bunny? I don't think he does. Certainly didn't this weekend.
No. Did you see that GIF I sent you?
Yeah, exactly. But you watch him and he doesn't. It's not the same. It's not the same. He doesn't seem like he's as happy as he was when he first got there, does he? He doesn't seem as animated and as into it.
It's because he's not winning anymore.
Yeah,
he's not winning anymore, and that he throws his dummy out, and then he moves on. For me, that's not the hallmark of a great manager.
No, well, he's never had to face a challenge before in the league, has he?
Exactly. for me, he should stay there for another 2, 3 seasons and just
See if he
and
can win it
challenge
back.
again.
Yeah, yeah, that's what
Exactly.
I'd like
Yeah.
to see him do. And then he can put aside all the questions about whether he's got it or not.
It's not as if he's gonna. It's not as if he's not gonna have the money to spend and the budget to go out and buy 3, 4, 5 players. You
Exactly.
know, he's paid 20 million a year at City. He's got a handsome salary. It's not as if he's going to move for the money. So stay there and just see. Let's see what type of manager you are. You know.
Yeah, exactly. See if you can take on the challenge for once instead of just having it all handed to you on a plate.
Absolutely, because he's not just going to have the challenge from us. He's going to have a challenge from possibly a rejuvenated Man United,
I wouldn't go
and
that far. They've still got Ole in charge.
and a Leicester team and a Chelsea team that's going to be
Can
hot
you
on his
see?
heels as well.
Can you see Leicester keeping this up? I know we joke about that, not because of maybe this season, but what I mean is long term. Brendan, I mean, even when he was at Celtic, his teams gradually got worse. At Liverpool, they gradually got worse. You know, they start off, he's fine, but then he starts getting his hooks into it, and it passing for passing's sake.
Yeah.
Has he learnt his lesson? Is the question we need to find out.
Well, we'll find that out next year. But what I'm saying,
if he
this season, I'm
stays,
talking
doesn't
about.
jump ship for the
Yeah,
money.
he'll stay. He's just signed a £10 million deal. He can't not.
Yeah,
He
but
can't
if somebody
leave now.
offers him more money, this is Brendan Rodgers. Money's always been this key feature.
I don't think anybody will offer him more money. I don't think Arsenal will offer him more money. I don't think he's going to go into the
Arsenal
top
paid
club in
Wenger
Spain.
more.
Really?
Yeah, Wenger was the highest paid person at Arsenal when he was there.
Wow, because
He was paid more than the players.
Because wow, Pep's on 20.
Yeah, but
Jose's on 15, and Rogers is signed for 10, isn't he? For a
yeah,
year.
they'll pay him.
So,
They'll take
wow.
no because they were paying. Well, I mean, it's a bit different because Wenger had been there years, and you know it's a long term thing. But I still think if they wanted him, they wouldn't hesitate to pay him a huge amount if they really thought he was the right man. I just can't see them wanting him. Not at that. I think the price would put them off getting him from Leicester rather than paying him.
Do you think he'd go though?
If they offered him more money, yeah, like a shot.
Wow. But this is the point, and back to the original point about Pep. Stay and see.
Yeah.
Let people see what you're made of.
Prove yourself,
don't
now.
duck a challenge. Exactly. This is the first time since he started at Barcelona, you have to prove yourself, and that's how long. That's a long, long time.
Well, even when he started there, he never really had to prove himself because he had the best team, and he had the team, and Madrid were a mess again.
Okay, so really, then, what you're saying is this is the first time in his life, in his managerial career, he's going to have to prove himself
with a proper challenge. Yeah, that's what I mean.
With a proper challenge, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, too, yeah.
Because he never got one at Bayern, did he? And at Barcelona, Madrid were a mess. Atletico, were as close as anyone to pushing him.
Right. Yeah. And exactly. Bayern, he had it all his own way anyway.
Yeah,
and he never won.
He would have walked into the best team in Europe and made them the best team in Germany. It's not the mark of a great manager. So this is the chance to prove he is one.
Because he didn't win the European Cup with Bayern, did he?
No, nowhere near. Not really.
Yeah. Wow. All right, mate. The Crystal Palace game, the 2-1 winner at their ground.
That was tough. That one.
We made that much harder than it should have been.
Do you know what? I don't think that's fair. I think they're a well-organised team and they make every game difficult. Doesn't matter who they're playing against. The only chance you've got is if they get caught chasing. You get an early goal and then they have to chase a game. That's the only chance you've got, and then you can catch them a few times on the break and make it a decent score. But otherwise,
we were wasteful.
They're one of those teams. They don't make it easy, and they're very well organised. That's one thing you can never complain about with Hodgson.
Right. Yeah. he makes it difficult. He's a passionate guy. He's a hard worker.
His team's always they're well drilled in defensive situations. They know exactly what they're doing. There's never anybody going, is he yours or is he mine? That might, like you sometimes see with Pep's teams where they don't know who's marking who and can get overrun or things. Or a lot of other teams, Eddie Howe's team or any of those others, you never have that problem with his teams. They know exactly what they're doing and they're very good at it.
He drills them well.
I mean, they do loads of work on shape on the training ground. I remember Danny Murphy talking about it, saying it was dead boring. It used to go, you'd just do hours of work on it. And Carragher, I remember complaining when he was at Liverpool that you didn't touch the ball, you just did shape work. But it works.
Yeah, it's not as if he got. Not for us, it didn't.
No, but at the level he's at, I'm talking about when you got these lesser players. It's similar to them trying harder. When you've got weaker players, you have to have that little something to give them a chance to equalise it. He does it by drilling them so well they know what they're doing in their sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for them type of teams and players, a draw is akin to a win.
Yeah, and if they snatch a win, if they snatch a goal, that's all well and good. But they're not actually that bothered, so they can sit back and just absorb pressure.
Absolutely. Okay, so that was a streaky win, and then we went on to 4 days later in the Champions League. We drew 1-1 against Napoli, which it was a dire performance.
Oh, that was awful.
I think we picked it up, if I can recollect, for about 15 minutes in the second half. At the beginning of the second half, and then we just went back into a stupid mode again. I just don't know what it is with Napoli. We can't seem to overwhelm them like we do other teams.
It's a similar thing with Man United. It doesn't matter how many times we played them. We never play to our best, and I don't know why.
It has to be psychological then.
You'd assume so, but It might not be. It might be something they're doing well. They might just happen to have the right set of players. Because Koulibaly always seems to step up his game against us. When he doesn't matter.
Always plays well against Salah. Always. I mean, there's one or two instances and there will Salah get the beating on him.
I tell you what, though, he was lucky not to give away a few penalties in that game. And it could have been booked about 40 times as well, because every time Salah got the ball, he had his hands around his neck and pulling him back. That's how he does it. It's hands-on, and he gets away with it.
I just felt that for the Koulibaly-Salah confrontation this time round, I thought Salah had much the better of him, but the past meetings, I thought Koulibaly's had the better of him on overall, but that was definitely a penalty this time around with in the area when he had his hands all over his neck and he was hauling him back, and
he did it 3 times as well.
I don't know what's going on in Salah's head, because if he'd have gone down there, that would have been a penalty. That would have gone to adjudication, a definite penalty.
But
sure.
But the thing is, he's had so many people telling him he's calling him a diver and all this. So now he stays on his feet and he doesn't get the decisions he deserves. So how could he win? This is what I keep saying. They need to sort this. If a player stays on his feet, he still should get a penalty if he deserves it.
Yeah, but that's a chink in Salah's armour. That's a more reflection on Salah. You keep going down. If you've been fouled, keep going down. I mean, that's what VAR is for. Well, let's not.
No, I think you should. I think the thing is, VAR should be calling it back and saying, give him a penalty. He shouldn't need to go down to get the VAR to look at it. The VAR should be there looking at it anyway. I mean, it was a clear penalty. Now, why does he need to go down to get a decision?
I just felt he should have gone down, to be honest with you, and then let the referee decide and then let it go upstairs for adjudication, because I felt he cost us there. I think that was naivety or stupidity on Salah's part. The result puts in a real pickle for Tuesday now. against Salzburg.
I think we're better like that, to be honest. We play at our best when we've got our backs to the wall, and we've got to do it.
It would have been so much nicer to just send a bunch of kids out there, though. Having not to go and send your strongest team out and trying to get a win in Salzburg. So, but hey, as you say, when our back's against the wall, we usually come up trumps. 3 days later, we played Brighton at Anfield. I laugh because I just can't understand how we nearly let a two-goal lead slip in that game.
It's the same problem. We get a lead too easy. Start cruising, take our foot off the gas, try and pass it around at the back, and the midfield stopped every time. The same problem it is. The midfield and the attack start dropping off. Rather than carrying on pressing and pushing on and trying to get another goal, and trying to take the ball high up the pitch, they look at it and go, we've got enough goals now, we just need to defend. So they start dropping off. The problem is the defenders are still playing a high line. So when when you've got the other team's got the ball, we've got a high line, but they've got time and space now to pick a pass. So the defenders should be saying, we don't need to hold a high line now. They've got time and space to pick a pass. We need to drop. But they're not. It's not good communication between them. They either need to carry on pressing or the defence needs to drop off and stop holding a high line.
Okay, so you can do that once, right? You can do it twice, but to keep on doing it, is that just a coaching issue or is that just players?
It's a lack of communication on the pitch. It's players lacking experience, I think, because I'm quite sure that a lot of, that they're being told to carry on, keep pressing, don't drop off. But it happens. It's a mental thing. You get scared of losing a result because you've got so much pressure on you. So you start dropping off because you think, right, we're just going to hold what we have here. We'll just pass it around. When they start just passing it around nice and easy, just trying to take sting out the game. They're trying to manage the game out. But it's not not everyone's doing the same thing. The defence is so well drilled at holding a high line that they just hold the high line. It's become automatic,
So why doesn't the defence drop then?
Because they're so used to it. It's just automatic. They're holding a high line constantly. So they stay with it. Because that's the way they're drilled.
And anything else is just alien to them now.
Yeah, it's become second nature. Why would you want to drop off when you need to hold a high line so they can press?
Right. Okay. So you firmly blame the midfield
and
for
attack
the switching up.
The whole lot. The people in front. They should carry on pushing on, keep pressing, keep holding them up. Don't drop off. Never drop off. There's no point to it. It just invites pressure on. And we're not that good at defending from deep areas. We're good at defending because we press. So
it's interesting that you talk about the forward line not pressing, defending either. Now, is that Bobby? Is that Salah not helping out on the right?
It's all of them. What they do is they all just it's just automatic because you don't want. You're so busy worrying about holding on to what you have. You're no longer taking that risk of stepping forward.
Right, okay.
And if your midfield's not stepping forward with you, even if when the forwards do step forward, the midfield's not, so there's a gap for them to play it into. So it's an easy bypass. So what happens is, first off, the midfield starts dropping off. It's just the way it is because they're trying to protect the defence. So they drop off thinking, we won't push on because we leave a gap behind us. Then the forwards carry on pressing, and then they, when they're trying to press and the ball just gets past dead easily because the midfielder dropped off, they then start thinking, well, there's no point us pressing because they could just play it through as too easy, so we're just wasting a lot of energy, so we'll just drop off and we can be ready for a counter instead. It's where it starts in midfield, definitely.
So for pretty much, you've got more than half the team not doing their job.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to do a different job is the problem rather than the job they're normally doing. And it ends up where you've got them drilled to do one thing, but it's a natural reaction when you've got a lead and you've got something to lose. You try and hold on to it.
Is this something Klopp can manage?
The only time that'll change is when they've got experience and they get braver from the experience of actually making it through. If we win a title, if we do manage to hold on and win the league, the confidence gain should improve it. It's one of those things that just the more you win, the more experience you get, the better you get at doing it. You know what I mean? Coping with the pressure of winning next time.
Does that not? And also the fact that I think it's telling that there isn't many winners in that side.
Exactly. There's only Milner, isn't there?
There's only Milner. Exactly, and there's only and they won. Obviously, they won the European Cup together last year, but there's no people that have won championships at other clubs who are going in there with any kind of experience either.
Yeah, it'll just take time. It'll come. Keep going, and eventually it'll start to come where they'll just think there's no point dropping off. No, the problem is we haven't. We could have done with it being punished early. Now we don't want it to get punished because it could end up costing us badly. But if it'd been punished early, they might have twigged on not to do it. You know what I mean? It might have given them a kick up the arse,
Yeah, of course, but also coupled with this, I don't know, this naive game management. We also aren't taking chances. We're being very wasteful in front of goal, and that's coming to bite us in the bum later on in games. At the end of games, where we should have put chances away. And
but then even when we have put chances away, we've let it go. Like Salzburg the first time.
Good point.
So, it's just one of those, unless we learn how to stay, keep on in games and stop dropping off and panicking, it's going to keep happening.
So you just think that's a thing that will come?
That's why winning the first league is the hardest. That's why they say, that's why it is. Because you need to get the experience of winning them to win them again and again,
So it's more titles than it is games. So, say in 10 games' time, I'm thinking they won't be making this mistake. But you're saying that let them win the title, and then next season they won't be making this mistake.
Yeah, they won't make it, or they shouldn't make it anyway. There's no excuse next season if they've won it once. They should be braver then.
I honestly thought Adrian's fumble was going to be costly at the end. I could see the headlines when he fumbled. I really could see the headlines. I was just right. I'm not going on the internet. I'm not editing. I'm not putting on a TV. A draw is akin to a loss for me now. Because we've set standards so high.
Well, what's that? Third? Is it the third time we haven't won all season? In all competitions, I'm talking about. It's the third time we haven't won, isn't it? So,
I think you're right, yeah.
Because we lost to Napoli the first time, drew with
Man United.
Yeah, and then drew with Napoli. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, we did draw with Napoli, yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. 3 times that we haven't won in all competitions.
That is ridiculous figures. I mean, this is statistics that football teams dream of. And we're actioning them, and this is not even. And this is with our B team in the last week as well. I mean, this is insane. What a beautiful time to be a Liverpool fan.
It's bothering me because they're starting to talk about are they the next Invincibles on the TV and stuff, and I don't like that because you know how superstitious I am. I'm just like, please don't say stuff like that.
I know you're pathetic like that, but I mean,
terrible.
Let's that invincible talk. Give it another 10 games and see what happens. But
we'll wait till the end of the season, and if we've
all right, fair enough, yeah.
Or if we lose, we can then say, if we lose in the league, we can then say, no, we're not Invincibles.
We're never gonna get a better chance to win the Premiership That's we can't just,
because the most they can get to City now, Manchester City, that is obviously not Leicester City. The most Manchester City could get now is 98 points. They've already dropped as many points as they did the entirety of last season.
People were texting me saying, "Oh, Man United fans, we've handed you the title, blah blah blah."
What?
And and I was like, they weren't a threat before the game. For me, it was ours to lose. It wasn't City's to win or Leicester's to win. No. This is ours to lose.
Yeah, exactly right. Now it is. We've done so well at the start that it has to be.
And it's incredible. Going back to the game, it was great to see Virgil score two-headed goals. I mean, this is just tantamount. I mean, just this testament to...
Which game are we talking about now? Well, we were on
the Brighton game.
Brighton, yeah. Sorry, yeah. I forgot which one we're on.
Game, yeah. And it's testament to how well we're playing. The goals are coming from all over the place. I think it's 16th or 17th different scorer.
Yeah, even the reserves.
Exactly. I mean, since Shaqiri's changed his hairstyle, I'm telling you, he's become a better footballer. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not so sure I like it, though. It looks like a hairpiece, doesn't it?
I think it looks good.
Yeah, well, I've seen your hair, so...
At least I got some.
Mine's by choice, though. I'd just like to point that out. Unlike your comb over.
I haven't got a comb over, actually. I've got a good head of hair.
I assumed it was. I just assumed it was. I just seen the state of it. It didn't look real.
That's because I just climbed out of bed that second, I think, about 10 minutes before I came over to yours. Anyway, back to Shaqiri's hair. No. Back to different people scoring and Virgil scoring 2 goals from corners.
Yeah, it's good to see him score.
It's great to see. Absolutely, because and I love the fact that everybody's scoring. That just, for me, that proves there's a team ethic, there's a bond. People are passing to each other, and love to see that.
Yeah, half the problem's been, though, the reason why we're not scored enough is, has been the passes at the moment when they should have been shooting. There's a lot of the problems been that why we've been a bit wasteful. So, but absolutely. As long as we're winning, it doesn't bloody matter, does it?
Honestly, pal, I think that that is definitely true what you say. Since Mane's meltdown with Salah, they've obviously started passing a lot more, and it has been to the detriment of the goals scored because I was going to swear then.
Well, not in every game it hasn't. It hasn't been much of a problem in some games.
There's some games because they should have been they should have been shooting instead of passing, and it was easier to shoot, more natural to shoot than to pass, and they've messed up the pass.
Yeah, exactly. Teams go through phases like this, and the important thing is to keep grinding out the results anyway, and we have done so.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, mate. All right, next on the derby, the 5-2.
It's a bit close, that one. I was a bit disappointed we let them have 2, to be honest.
I was absolutely livid when Richarlison and Keane scored, honestly. I just thought, they're an absolute shambles. How can you let this team score 2 goals?
Oh, no, that's embarrassing.
Really? I mean, if Michael Keane will never do anything more noteworthy than score that goal at Anfield again.
I honestly was, when he fouled someone, I can't remember who, and I thought the ref starts reaching for his pocket, and I was there going, no, don't send him off. He's the worst player on the pitch. It's like us having 12 men having him on their side. Please don't send him off. And how did he repay me? He goes and scores. Miserable get.
Unbelievable.
That's just not right.
But what a performance. I mean, that was the B team, let's face it. That was 7 changes?
Yeah, but he made 7 changes for the next one as well. And that's the thing. He's got them to this a squad that works as a team, no matter what no matter what system he puts out. He's got them well drilled now. Similar to like I was saying about Crystal Palace, they're well drilled and they know what they're doing. So you can just throw out any 11 pretty much.
Mate, I want to make that point later on. I've got the result. That result was never in doubt, right? But that should have been. I mean, it wasn't. I was going to say it was harder than it should have been. I mean, it really wasn't even work. That when Richarlison scored, it wasn't. It was not even a chance I'd get back in the game. But when I first saw that lineup, I thought. I remember I texted you saying, "What the F
I've still got the
that?
text. It gives me a good giggle every so often.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that lineup, I just thought, is he taking Everton lightly again? And I thought, yeah, he is. But I just,
I just don't get why people were saying things like that, because I had quite a few texts of a similar nature, which is why I kept them all for the good laugh.
Yeah.
But I just looked at it and I thought, most of you, I can't remember whether you were one of them, but most of you have been complaining about all of these players not playing well. And then he pulls them out the side, and you're all complaining that he's taking it lightly. I mean, he can't win.
Mate, what I've realised is questioning Klopp just makes you look stupid. I mean...
To be fair, you don't need to question Klopp to look stupid. You can do that all on your own.
He sees those players day in and day out in training, and he clearly knows what he's doing by now. So
I know it's hard to believe the manager whose team's top of the league by 8 points could know what he's doing, but apparently he does. I mean, who would have thought it?
And European champions.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what does he know?
Mate, to a man, they were outstanding. But Divi, Shaq, Genie and Trent and Mane were like absolute Trojans. I mean, Shaqiri's just become, he's a different player. He looks like a different player physically. Psychologically, he's tracking back, helping Trent snuff out the threat of Genie.
If you're an Everton player, you must have gone when you seen the team lineup, you must have thought, "Oh, this will be nice," and this will we've got a chance here. And then you're reading down, and then you see Divock Origi, and you probably thought, "Oh no," because he always does well against them.
Mate, Jordan Pickford won't be sending Divi a Christmas card this year or any other. That is the guy. To be fair, he's crap, Pickford. Right? Yeah, but
he does help.
Yeah, he does help. He does help his cause.
Yeah,
but Divi gets rubbish by some of the fan base at Liverpool. But is there a better reserve striker in the Premiership? I'm not saying this with my red gold. No, mate. Honestly,
no, he's really good. No, I agree. I think he's a quality player, and I don't understand why people are on his back. I think I told you before. My mate he used to be bloke out here, was coach at. Run the youth academy for one of the teams out here until they merged with another one. So he was running. Right. He's from Belgium, and he's worked. He's done coaching with the national side and all that, and he reckons Origi's the best talent they got. But this was a couple of years ago. He was saying that Origi's class apart. He's better than any of their other strikers by a mile.
Not as good as Benteke though. But listen, I'm not saying this with my red goggles on, but. Is Jesus much better than Divi? I don't think so.
No, I'd take Origi over Jesus anytime. I'm not a big fan of Jesus, to be fair. He has good games. He has the odd good game where but I wouldn't want him. I wouldn't take him in my team. Oh, if somebody said, "Would you buy him?" No, not on the slight. Wouldn't go near him. He has an attitude for me. Throws the toys out the pram and doesn't try.
Jesus can be unplayable sometimes, but so can Divi. So I mean, he's
just
got
ask
the right
Pickford.
Attitude. Exactly. I mean, they must hate the sight of that guy. I mean, he took his 2 goals. They were world-class finishes that he made to look easy.
Yeah, 2 touch, bang.
Easy. Exactly. You can't ask for more. And Jesus misses some absolute sitters. And what I'm doing is I'm comparing 2 benched strikers, and I think Jesus and Divi are the best of the lot in the Premiership on the bench. So that's why I'm exemplifying Jesus.
I was trying to think of any others.
Yeah, I can't, to be honest.
No, I mean, any to compare. No.
Exactly, yeah. I mean,
Glenn Murray's past it.
Chelsea strikers, who they got? They've got Giroud. Pulisic is a winger, and Willian's a winger. Arsenal, who have you got? You got Lacazette, really, I suppose.
Yeah, but he's not bench striker, is he? He's first choice, as is Aubameyang. Usually the two.
Exactly, yeah.
The only one maybe is Iheanacho, because he's normally on the bench. But
but I don't rate Iheanacho.
No, he's had one good game today, and that's probably it. Like in his career.
Yeah, and there's a school of thought to say he didn't even score that goal. It came off I think
it caught his knee as well. But he didn't exactly. When I say played well, I'm not convinced he was that good. But yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, I think Divi is as good as Jesus, and I think that, and I'm not saying that lightly. I'm not saying that again with my red goggles on. I just think the guy is. I think we're lucky to have him, and he's happy to sit. Not happy, but he doesn't cause any problems. He's on the bench and he does a job for you when he comes on. I think we're super lucky to have him. Again, Shaq was tracking back, helping Trent again snuff out Digne. Again, if Shaq could play like this week in, week out.
To be fair, I think Digne spent most of his time trying to shut out Trent rather than the other way round.
But Shaq was tracking back and helping
when he had to. Yeah, there wasn't much need for him, to be honest. It was a bit one-sided overall, that game. I think Everton just didn't look like they were even in it at all. Like they even wanted to win it.
There was no passion. There was no fight. There was no. I mean,
nothing. Richarlison had given up by the time the kick-off had been taken. He decided he just if he wasn't going to get a free kick, he wasn't interested, was he? That was all he was doing.
Yeah. I just think they realised they were up against a wall that they couldn't.
Yeah, their heads dropped.
They couldn't have it. I mean, and let's be fair, Gini was world class in that game. He was
magnificent.
Unbelievable. I mean, he was poor for 15 minutes. He didn't do much for me, but then after 15 minutes, somebody turned the on switch on, and he just became this world class. It was a world class worldy performance for me. And he was playing as a box to box.
Yeah, it's probably the best he's played.
God, it was unbelievable. And then Trent and Sadio were just doing what Trent and Sadio do. It was just beautiful to watch.
And Robbo played well as well.
Yeah, it perplexes me how he can just pull out performance after performance and he's not being rested. He's not, and it's just, it bewilders me how he does it. How good is this guy? Because when he first came, I was like, I mean, to say that I was dubious is an understatement.
Good coaching's improved him, to be fair. I mean, you can see he's come on leaps and bounds since he's been with us. He's a much better player than he was.
Yeah, I think that you could say that for most of them, to be honest. I mean,
True.
Who hasn't he improved? I mean, I think he's improved Fabinho. I think he's improved, and I mean, Fabinho was good before he got here, but he has improved him. There's not many that he hasn't improved.
Lovren's been playing well as well for all the stick he gets. And I know people are still giving him stick. I don't get it. I think he's been playing well. I don't get why he's still getting stick. People keep saying, yeah, but he makes a mistake. Every player makes a mistake. It's just that when it's Lovren, he gets hammered because he makes one mistake a game and he gets hammered. Even if he does 20 goal-saving tackles, he'll get hammered for one little mistake he'll make. Whereas the player in front, the midfielders, could give the ball away 40 times and nobody bats an eyelid. He gives the ball away once and he's hammered. You know what I mean? It's just the people have got it decided he's crap, so they won't let it. They won't let him off with it.
Because he hasn't got the pace of Virgil or Gomez. I think people are using that as a stick to beat him with.
And the problem is, Matty turned it around as well. And so people have fell in love because he looks like he's smooth and he's played so well. And Gomez had been doing so well before. He's kind of, everyone's expecting him to play like those two did. And he's not the same type of player.
No, I think Lovren's renaissance started in the Man City game, 3-1 win. He was magnificent. He was putting his body on the line, blocking everything. I mean, I remember one shot by Sterling when Sterling took it across the penalty area and he shot. And not once, but twice, Lovren diverted. He blocked the ball. It was insane. I mean, we're top of the league and we're playing really, really well. And I think people just need to pick holes, really. And when there's no holes to be picked.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to say, let's just keep going and hope, and leave it as it is. And then Klopp makes seven changes and we just play even better. I mean,
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, what does it matter?
Exactly, but ideally, right, in an ideal world, we'd probably like Matip there and we'll go back to our, so we don't concede many goals and we keep clean sheets. But it isn't an ideal world. I mean, people have injuries. City have Laporte out. Well, I was going to say...
Ed only needs him because he's the only defender they've got in the squad. Yeah.
Exactly. They have Laporte out. United have Bailey out. They have, people get injured, and it's just part of football. But you can't have 11 guys playing week in, week out. It needs rotation. And we're still top of the league, and we're 8 points ahead, like you say.
Yeah. And it's now we've got to hold on to it, though. Club World Cup and all that, coming up.
Yeah, maybe Lovren is the fourth choice defender, but maybe he isn't sexy, and maybe he isn't a Rolls Royce of a player. But you know what? We're winning with him in the team. He's got to be doing something, right?
Yeah, exactly. And he only came off because he had a twinge, not because people were trying to make out it was a tactical switch just because they wanted to have a dig at Lovren. And it clearly wasn't. He went off holding his leg and saying, he went off, he was making gestures that he's pulled something, that something was wrong, and then they made the change. And people still make up this nonsense about it being a tactical switch just because it's Lovren. And they've decided he's a target.
And it suits their narrative. But what I'm saying is I don't think Klopp would have made a change after 30, 35 minutes, a tactical switch. If he was, it's not as if he was getting torn apart like he was against Harry Kane against Spurs a year or two ago.
Well, that's the thing. That was a one-off. That was a man who's in a lot of pain mentally. And it just he couldn't get his head around the game. These things happen. You can't, no one can play well every day.
That was off the field for sure. That was off the field problems creeping onto the field. So as you say, that was an anomaly. That's not going to happen again. All right, mate.
Especially now he's got his busy buddy there.
He seems happy, doesn't he? And now Salah and Mane. Now that Salah and Mane not that friendly, he's even more besties with.
And he's in the team too. It's brilliant for him, isn't it?
Yes, he's in the team as well. I reckon it couldn't have gone any better for him. If he'd have planned that, it couldn't have gone any better. Right. So can you imagine him saying, Salah, don't pass to Mane, right?
Yeah, then they fall out. I'll be in here.
Yeah, and me and you will be best friends for life.
I bet his missus must go, are you texting him again?
Oh, that is so funny, mate. That is so funny. Right, Bournemouth, mate.
What can you say about that?
That was one of the most one-sided games I've seen in a long time. That was the most startling thing is we didn't score 6, 7 or 8.
And it was nothing to do with Bournemouth that we didn't because we could have done it at a counter. It was just too easy.
Mate, I know they had 9 players missing, but I'm not sure they were all first-team players. And
Oh, I'm not
we
being funny, but they've
rotated
been
and
playing
injuries too.
crap anyway. It's nothing to do with having players
Yeah,
injured. Eddie Howe can't organise a defence. I've said it time and time again. He's not a particularly special manager. He's been heavily backed with money. That's why Bournemouth got into the Premier League and have survived. It's nothing to do with Howe being special at all. He's not had to do anything special. He's had players galore thrown at him, and he's not getting the best out of them. I don't understand why his name ever comes up when big jobs come to mind. He's just another Unai Emery or Marco Silva, you know?
Do you think he's at his level then at Bournemouth?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think he's actually above his level, to be honest, but he's an Evertonian, what to expect? But like, he went up north and he struggled. He didn't like it, so he went back to Bournemouth. It's the only place he can succeed. It's just that one set of circumstances. It suits him because they love him there, rather than because he's particularly special. You know, he's just got the right fit around him.
Yeah, he seems a bit, and I'm not just saying this. He seems a bit blah. You know, I wouldn't want him anywhere near Liverpool. I don't think he's suited to the top 4. I don't think he'll get Arsenal. I don't particularly even think he'll get the Everton job. I just think he's a bit vanilla for me. He doesn't. There's nothing about him that is. I'm not saying he's a bad.
Probably get an England job or something.
Probably, yeah.
Because they go for the crap, don't they? Failed managers, perfect. Let's get another Southgate, and then they'll claim he's brilliant because he plays against crap teams and wins. I mean, for God's sake, when do England ever learn? You've gone quiet. Oh, you've gone very quiet. Don't tell me you've gone. Oh, hey. So that's the end of... Oh, no. No, I got my hopes up then.
That was a short, uncomfortable interlude. I enjoyed it.
Oh, I thought you'd gone then. I got my hopes up. I was just about to wrap up.
I bet the mother of your child hoped you did all them years ago.
Oh, probably.
Anyway, where were we? Eddie Howe. So you were saying we were saying he's at his level, and I was saying he's a little bit vanilla. Seems like a nice guy, but wouldn't want him anywhere near Liverpool.
Not a good guy.
We did score 2 after Ake went off, though, but I still think we would have won that game had he been on the pitch.
Well, with Ake, he's crap. I don't understand the big deal. He can't defend. Yeah. I think we'd have probably scored 4 if he'd have been on the pitch, rather than 2.
Yeah, maybe. We made 7 changes from the Derby game against Everton, but it seems even wholesale rotation can't stop the red juggernaut.
It seems to help, if anything. We'd be looking better. I mean, he just thought it.
It's taken him 15 games to realise he should be wholesale.
Rafa had it right all along.
Exactly. Mate, Salah was irrepressible and nearly back to his glorious best. I thought he had a great game.
To be honest, it's hard to pick out who didn't have a great game.
I thought Salah was a pain in the arse all game. I mean, it was like he was playing, I don't know, on a Sunday in the playground or something with his kids. In the back garden or something. He was that good.
I've got to say, once Gomez moved inside, he looked better. But at right back, he could have been a weak link because he was struggling there.
Yeah, you're right. Because when Gomez went to a centre back, he showcased his talent. So he played much better. But right back, you're right.
He gets caught in. He's not aware. He doesn't track runs. He just doesn't suit him. He doesn't get forward. He's not aggressive going forwards either. He gets caught in between 2 stools all the time, whether he should stay back or go forward and that.
And he gets caught in between two positions as well.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't think he's got the confidence in his ability as well that he should have, because he's got the ability to play the crosses. When he did get a chance, he put in a really good ball at one point, but nobody attacked it because everyone seemed to be thinking, "Oh, it's only Gomez. He's not going to put a Trent type ball in, is he?" And he plays a really good ball in, and they must have been standing, "And gone, who was that?"
Exactly. Yeah. No, I remember the ball he put in. It. Nobody attacked it. You're right. Let's talk about Keita. I think the whole Liverpool fan base is waiting for this guy to kick on. Hopefully, this game lays the foundation for him to do so.
Certainly better, but I don't think it was as good as some people are making out.
No, he was economical with the ball. He was tidy. He looked to play it forward.
Well, when he wasn't just passing it straight back to whoever gave it to him, you mean? That was getting it worked. Once or twice. That's all right. As when you got somebody pressing you, you play it back and then move, and you can get into and it can take somebody out of the game. But he was doing it when there was nobody anywhere near him. You're thinking, just turn and take the ball forward.
I think he wasn't the world beater that everybody thought he was this game, but I think he was. This was a confidence booster for him.
It's just a settling in.
Because he probably didn't want to take too many risks, so he probably won't get back in the team for another 6 months. So he probably played it safe. It's a nice little confidence booster for him scoring a goal. He played some. People saying I think he got 95% pass completion, but he passed it 2 yards to his teammates most of the time.
But I've got no problem. I'm like, it's just a settling in game for him, so I've got no problem with him not having a sterling game and just sitting in there and playing it safe. I've got no problem with that for your first game in the team. It's like when Curtis Jones came on. I didn't care. He didn't do anything special or anything. Who cares? That's not what he's there for. He's there to just get a feel of the game, and that's it. That's all he needed to do. Just play it nice and simple, and feel like start to feel like you're part of the squad. Like,
yeah, but we've got to say as well that with Keita and Jones, and I'm not trying to. I thought Curtis Jones played it simple and lovely, and it was a massive deal for him, and it was good for his confidence. But they weren't pressing Bournemouth at all. They were just letting us have the ball. No one was pressing us.
They'd given up Bournemouth, to be fair, by that point.
So.
Perfect time to bring on Jones.
Yeah, I'd have thought he'd have bought on Elliott as well, to be honest. I'd have thought
rather
he'd
than
given
Shaq,
them both
you mean?
little chases. I know, just bought at 3-0, 5 minutes to go. I would have thought, no, just give him a taste of the Premiership.
Yeah, when he brought on Shaq right at the end. Because he couldn't. Because he only had 2 substitutions left, remember, because he had to bring on Trent on for Gomez. Not Gomez, for Lovren. And move Gomez over. So he only had 2 substitutions left, and he brought on Jones for one of them. And I agree, I thought then. But then Shaqiri deserved the reward for having played well against Everton, I thought. So, you...
Mate,
and it keeps Elliott hungry as well.
And then when you're chasing a title, mate, there's no room either. I mean, you can't... You just got to... You got to think tunnel vision. You got to think 3 points and the title charge.
I don't think it would have mattered who we brought on for that respect. He could have brought on me and you in those 2 substitutions, and that Bournemouth weren't going to come back into it.
Mate, if he'd have brought on you and I for the last 10 minutes, we'd have scored.
I think we probably could have. That's how bad Bournemouth were.
You'd have sat on their players and you'd have flattened them, and I'd have just scored. I'd have just.
You've seen me. At least. I'd have done something. You've seen me play, so you haven't seen me play. So you. I'd have just probably. I'd have probably ended up with a red card after kicking somebody up in the air. No,
yeah, because they'd gone past you and you just rugby tackled them.
But they wouldn't have got past me. Trust me, because they'd have been up in the air before that. I played like Souness did. Yeah. Except you can't do that these days.
Nothing's getting past that girthy stomach.
No, nothing's getting past. I just forget, when the ball's there, you don't see there's a player in the way. There might be 3 players in the way, but I'll just go through them.
Get back to Keita, mate. And also...
I think it's a good confidence booster for him myself.
Springboard, yeah, for sure.
Hopefully it'll be a springboard.
In Germany, I tracked his career quite a bit, and he wasn't injured much in Germany. He seemed to he's getting little niggling injuries now. And, also, he's got mitigating circumstances. It's a new country, new language, new culture, new food, new teammates. That's got a lot to do with it. Henry was absolute rubbish when he first came to Arsenal for a season.
Until he got moved forward to the striker position.
Exactly, yeah. Because they played him left wing at the start, didn't they?
Yeah, because he came in as a winger. He was a crap left winger before, and then he joined them, and he became one of the greatest strikers I've ever seen. It's just hard to believe because he couldn't do a thing on the wing. He was awful. Yeah,
let's hope we're talking about Keita in the same breath.
He needs to stay fit, so that's the first thing. Obviously, it's a different level of fitness required in England. It's a lot more helter-skelter, harem-scarum in it, the matches. There's no rest. In the Bundesliga, you can tend to have a 20-minute stroll around to get your breath back if you need it.
Yeah.
You just don't get that in England.
And especially in the Klopp side as well. He won't let you rest. Yeah, exactly. Listen, talk to me about what do you make of the Ox situation? He's scoring, but I don't think he's back to his explosive best yet before although he's getting amongst the goals and he's getting some minutes, playing time, etc.
It takes time to get right back to your best, but yeah, I'm with you on that. I think he isn't playing at his best, but I'll take him scoring goals and not playing well anytime.
Yeah, I think that his goal scoring is masking his performances, and do you think that's completely just down to the injury and that time he's...
Yeah, he just needs time to get back to his best, that's all.
Yeah, because we're all willing. Yeah, we're all so keen for Ox to play well because he's such a great ambassador for this football club.
All you're doing is you're looking at him and you're just saying, get him some minutes on the pitch to get his it back to his best, because it'll take him months. It will take months at least.
Well, I've got my fingers crossed for him because I honestly if he became captain tomorrow, I'd be more than happy. I think he's a wonderful ambassador for the football club. And the way he carries himself, the way he portrays himself, the way he interviews, he's just loving the bits, mate.
Yeah, can't argue
I love
with
them
that.
all, to be honest with you. And mate, listen, I know this has been it truly has been a utopian season thus far. But you know what? My only worry is Trent. I know that sounds stupid when I say that, but before we came on, we looked pretty... It was turgid stuff, right? And I'm not saying we wouldn't have gone on to win the game, but Trent came on, we look a different team. And for me, I know there's a lot of talk on the site lately about who's the most important player, and I think you've said that they're all important, etc. But for me, this guy is the most important person for me, in my opinion. What he gives us, we lose those. What if he gets injured, right? We lose those incredible stats from the right side.
And not just that, what would we do without a Scouser in the team? A Scouser in the team.
Exactly.
Alexander-Arnold, he's the Scouser in the team.
Love it. But I just don't know what we'd do without his output. I mean, it was a massive difference when he came on. I mean, what do we do? I mean, I'd seriously advocate going out and buying somebody or loaning somebody in January who else is there to come in for him? Gomez,
Mane, he played brilliantly at right back when he was flying back making those tackles. Maybe he's got a future as a flying right winger.
Maybe he has, but
right wing back even.
Right wing back, but we need somebody. I honestly really do believe we need somebody to cover Trent, not just for this
him
season,
and Robertson. I think left
season.
the wing, the fullbacks. We haven't really got anyone that stands out. I'd hope that there's somebody in the youth team that, because like Lunucci was talking about in the summer, was the reason why we didn't, was the reason why they were all looking at him and saying this kid might be might negate us needing to buy someone. Now it doesn't seem like he's quite kicked on.
Yeah, but he's been injured. He's been injured, so he's coming back from injury as well. Yeah. So it's not as if that he hasn't. There's reasons why he hasn't kicked on. It's because he's had an injury. But there's Gallagher as well. I don't know much about Gallagher.
I mean, I've not heard much about him, to be honest. So
okay, fair enough.
I'm going on. I know they were really excited about Larucci in the summer. Excited enough that they decided to pull out trying to really forcing a look at somebody, and just said no, we'll stand pat because we can cope.
Yeah, for me, Milner's not the answer at left back because
definitely not.
He'll get roasted by a very good, even a good winger.
It's not so much that I worry about. It's his tendency to just play a blind pass inside that bothers me from the left. When he's on the right, he doesn't do it because he's comfortable. He can go outside. But when he's on the left, he can't go outside. He tends to cut back, and then he just plays a blind pass inside. And we've had quite a few times where that's been picked off, and it cost us against. What was the game where was it Salzburg? No, it was.
I can't remember.
No, it was the League Cup. Wasn't
Villa,
it? It was
Arsenal.
The League Cup. It was either Villa or Arsenal. I can't remember which one. He cost us goals by doing that. Playing it inside, and they latched on and scored it. I can't remember which one it was. But one of them two games.
It can't be Villa because we're playing them.
Oh yeah,
it has to be.
It was the first. It was the other. We played two anyway, didn't we? We played two League Cup games. One of them he played at left back and played a couple of blind passes inside, and one of them got cut up, and that was how they scored. Must have been Arsenal then. Must have been.
Yes. And him playing left back negates it lessens our threat from a flying fullback that is putting in crosses as well. So
he does do a fair job, though. I mean, he's not like. It's just that he has this for me, that's the only reason that bothers me. It's because of that tendency to just play a blind pass inside without looking, and he does it too often, and it can, it leads to a problem.
I understand, mate. So, but my real concern is cover for Trent. And,
I can see that, but I'm not too. If it depends on what it is. If it's just like a couple of games, we can cope. But if it's if he was out for the rest of the season, we're in trouble.
Yeah, but we don't. I mean, how? I mean, we don't know. God forbid, next game he goes out and does his ligaments. He's out for the season. Whatever. Who are we going to have? We need somebody to cover him. So. I mean, let's talk about the January transfer window. Do you think that will happen? Do you think that we'll buy out? I don't know. Maybe get one player that can cover left and right wing back.
If somebody was available, if somebody's available, I think we would. Yeah, but I just don't see who's going to come available in January that's going to be good enough to make it any better.
Clearly, we're not going to buy it for buying's sake. That's not Klopp's MO. But. You think that he knows that he needs cover for left and right?
Yeah, because he was that was the thing. He was looking at it, and then, I mean, one of the things was the lad we bought, Sepp van Berg, was supposed to be able to cover one of the fullback positions.
Right.
Hoover's another one, supposed to be able to cover one of the fullback positions, and that. And he's thinking Milner and them can cover it, so it's not an emergency. So long as Trent and Robbo don't get if they get a season-ending injury, there's not a lot you can do.
Yeah, I don't think Hoover is especially great at right back. I think he's much of a much, just like Gomez.
Yeah. I mean, they're both centre halves by trade. So
exactly. Yeah. So it's quite. I'm surprised that he hasn't fixed that issue, to be honest with you, because it could become a problem. And I hope it doesn't. Talking about the January transfer window, as Klopp said the other day, that there might be a scenario where Brewster goes out on loan.
Yeah, I think he's very likely to, because he wants to play football. He's not happy being left out.
That's a very interesting situation there, because I know he was much heralded at the start of the season. Now, is it the fact that he cannot shift the front three?
Let's say just that when he's been called upon, you've seen when he's played, like for the in the League Cup, he's just not. He's not been able to. He's not set the place alight at all, has he? He's not looked like he's ready, and he clearly isn't.
And that was my question: is it the fact that he's not playing regularly, so he can't showcase his talents, or is it he's not?
He does need. Yeah, he just needs game time, and that's what that's. He's not going to improve sitting and watching in the stands is the problem. He needs to play, find his feet, and in full-grown football, like so to speak, adult football. He needs to be playing. It could go out to a Bundesliga side. There's quite a few that want to buy him actually, but Crystal Palace have put are interested in loaning him.
And Villa are interested in loaning him as well, aren't they? Because they've only got Wesley up front.
Yeah, but Villa, the problem with Villa is he might be in the same position.
And they only play one up top. As well.
Yeah, they only play one up top. He's not. Is he going to? He's not going to be able to bash people around like Wesley does. And okay, he might be a better finisher than Wesley, but their system's built around having someone up front who can hold up the ball, and Bruce is not really capable of doing that.
I honestly could see him replacing AU at Crystal Palace.
Exactly, he'd fit in there because they don't need him to bash people around. It's more of a pressing role that he plays.
That would be a really good club for him actually, and see what he's made of. And you think then, where will we go in order to what will happen? I mean, we'll have to replace him, or do we replace him because he's not getting a game?
Exactly. Do we need to replace him? The only reason we need him is for the League Cup, and that's there's only a few more games.
One at minimum, so we may not
maximum.
Even,
it's only going to be, and you're not going to need him at
league level
unless people get injured. In which case, we've already shown we can swap things around and cope without them. So
so there needs to be at least, God forbid, again 2 or 3 forward injuries before he plays in the league.
Exactly, and, there's just nothing for him, is there really?
So, what do you replace a player that's not playing? I don't think we will.
No, I just can't see it. I really can't. I think he'll just go out on loan, and it's just whether I just wonder if he's got the right attitude to make it. To be honest, I like him. I think he's a good player, but like he must have known this is what it's going to be like, and it's going to be tough. And the only way he's going to do it is by working harder and harder to force his way in. And I don't know if he's got that mentality, or he might just take the easy route out like Jadon Sancho and that, and head off to Germany. It's not such a bad thing. I mean, I wouldn't blame him at all.
Yeah.
I don't mean that as when I'm saying not got the mentality. I mean whether he's gonna.
I don't think he's got the patience.
Patience. That's the word I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
That's the right one.
Yeah. I don't. It'd be sad because I think the kid's got ability. I just think that I'd give it just one more season just to see. Because he's not going to get a better.
You can see why he doesn't though, because unless one of Mane, Salah, or Firmino goes, what's his chances of getting a game?
Yeah, but he's never going to get a better.
Or Divi, or Shaqiri, or Ox, because they all play in the front three.
He's never going to get a better teacher.
Lallana.
I think. Yeah, all right, mate.
But I'm saying he plays ahead of him in the team, so where does he get a chance? I can see, for me, I can't see why he'd want to stay with us for now. It doesn't make sense either to keep him when we've got that many options.
No, and it seems like you're curtailing him as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's better for him to go out and get.
On the flip side, you're not going to get a better tutor than Klopp anywhere in world football. So that's a reason for him to stay.
Yeah, true. And he's shown that he can improve them even when they're not playing. Because look at what he can bed them into the side with like Fabinho and Robertson.
Absolutely. So it's a tough one. I don't know. I mean, I'm on the fence about that, him staying or leaving. I mean, for his own career, I'd hope he stays, but you can see why he goes as well. But back to the original point, mate, I still think that in January, I mean, I'm not advocating going out and spending 25 million on a right back that doesn't ever play. But if there's a loan out there that would not improve, but just
but it wouldn't be someone who wouldn't play. That's the thing. Is if you look at the Liverpool team, quite often Klopp rests Trent because he covers so much ground. He does rest him quite a fair bit.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that you're right. The fact that it wouldn't. I mean, you're not going to get somebody as good as Trent unless you go. I mean, who is there? There's not many.
You just
right?
wouldn't, because there isn't anyone.
Yeah.
I know I did the top 10 right backs and
Yeah.
I put Kimmich above him, but I did say in that that's only because I thought I might be being biased. But in my personal opinion, I do think Trent's the best there is. I mean, I've not seen anyone like him.
But 10 of the most of those, I'd say 8 or 9 of those right backs won't come to Liverpool in January. So
they're not going to come. Why would they? I mean.
Exactly, you won't. I mean, you what for the odd game, you won't. But what I'm saying is, if there's anybody out there who can just
we could go and get
25 points.
What about Shiddaby from Everton? Oh no, because they've changed manager. Because he couldn't. Because I mean, he must have been fuming to get dragged off.
Yeah,
against us.
Exactly,
and he's barely had a look in before then.
I mean, he played really well against Leicester. Was it Leicester? Yeah, Leicester. I thought he played very well against Leicester the game before that. But yeah, anyway.
No, I think he's actually a really good player, and I don't understand why he wasn't playing ahead of Coleman, because Coleman's legs look to have gone.
Even before
gone. Yeah, he's not half the player he was.
I remember texting you saying it'd be interesting, Siddaby and Robertson going out on Derby. I remember texting you that because I thought I think he's a fairly good player, mate. I think he can only get better.
I think that's one of the reasons why Silva showed his cluelessness was the moment he took him off. When he's got the two worst centre backs in that I've seen in years at the back in Keane, apart from that Shane Duffy at Brighton who never plays now. Apart from him, they got the two worst in Keane and Mina, who are both just a pair of tugboats, and he plays a high line. So he keeps them on and gets the Sidibe, who was playing. I mean, you just. Yeah.
Mate, that's why they got rid of him.
Yeah, exactly. It just showed what a clueless moron he is.
Yeah. All right, mate. So do you think there will be additions in January, or are you hopeful?
I don't expect anything, to be honest. I think at this point it's one of those where players look at it and go, I'm not going to play. How am I going to get into that team when it's playing that well? I think the only thing, I don't expect much to be done next summer either. Because, unless people leave. The only thing I can see is, I can see, if we can get a work permit, I can see us bringing back Grujic.
Yeah, he's apparently he's playing well for Berlin, right?
Saying the right things as well, that a dream of playing for Liverpool and stuff. That's his dream, is to go back and play for Liverpool and that. So did Gabigol, didn't he? He said that as well this week. So.
And he scored 23 goals so far this season. Or 28.
To be fair, that's back in Brazilian football, though, isn't it? Rather than top class,
Exactly, yeah. I say that. What position does Grujic play now?
Midfield. He's just a central midfielder.
I know he's essential, but was he box to box? He's defensive midfielder.
He can play any of them. That's the thing. That's why he's just an all-round central midfielder, and he seems to they seem to be moving him, changing the way he plays.
Yeah.
And that's why he's been a bit inconsistent. He's had a bad game like this weekend because of it. I think it was this weekend or the weekend before. I can't remember. Might be midweek even, because I've only.
Yeah.
get so mixed up over dates at the moment. It's so busy with the football. Lose track of time. When we're playing 2 games a week, it starts getting confusing.
And the dimension doesn't help either.
That's true, yeah. And old age is just a bit, isn't it?
I'll let you know when I get there, mate.
You were there years ago.
I'd have definitely have Grujic back. I thought there was ability in him when he came to us. So he's only gone and improved. So I think he'd be a really good player a really good squad player.
Would you have a Gabigol? Would you have that Gabigol?
I don't know, mate. I've not seen much of him play, to be honest with you. I mean,
when he was in Italy, he was terrible. But obviously there's something there. So I don't know. I just can't see where he'd play for us. Maybe a replacement for Ian Brewster for the League Cup team. Where else would he play? I mean,
mate, I'd be more than happy for another Brazilian to come to Liverpool because they haven't done too bad.
I know you love your Brazilians.
Oh, mate, on to the Salzburg game on Tuesday. I have no idea who he's going to pick. 7 days ago.
Could you imagine being the Salzburg manager?
Yeah.
How's he prepare?
What's his name? Sonny March or something, isn't it?
Jesse Marsh.
Yeah, Jesse Marsh, yeah. 7 days ago, the team would have picked itself, right?
Yeah.
Now, oh my God, who knows? Who knows? He could have Shaqiri at left back.
Yeah, and he'd probably pull out a worldie and deliver 13 crosses, and every single one of them end up in a goal for Origi the way we're playing at the moment.
Who'd be in goal, mate? Listen, have we criminally underrated the ability of our squad players, or is this luck that they stepped up and played well, or is it just Klopp being an absolute genius?
I think it's a mix of Klopp doing well and people underrating players. I mean, the problem is when players don't play often, they can go 2 ways. People either think that they say that they're crap because they don't see them, or they get massively overrated because the team that's playing is playing badly. People start thinking that the other players must be better than that, and so they suddenly start rating them really highly. But when a team's playing really well, the ones who can't get in, well, they must be crap because they don't get a game. But it doesn't mean they're crap, it just means they're not getting a game, I think people just underrate them because they're not playing. How many teams would love to have Origi in their side? I mean, can you imagine if Everton had had Origi instead of Dominic Calvert-Lewin? They might have actually scored, they might have actually scored some goals. I'm not talking about against us, I'm talking about in general throughout the season. He'd have scored probably twice as many goals as Calvert-Lewin this season. Easy.
What, 3?
I don't know how many did he score, 2, 3. So yeah, but you know what I mean. He'd score a lot more goals than Calvert-Lewin would.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And who wouldn't want a? I mean, Genie could be a bench player now. It's insane. It's ridiculous. I mean, like I said, 7 days ago, I was sure the team picked itself.
Milner was a backup for a while. I mean, who wouldn't love Milner in their team? He could walk into any side in the Premier League almost.
Pretty much.
I think probably only Man City wouldn't because they let him go. So
Fernandinho, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think he would. I think he's better than Gundogan and that they've got.
Who's on the bench now?
But he rotates the team as well, doesn't he, Pep? So
yeah.
So it's a bit difficult to say who's first team and who isn't with them.
So I would give it the players stepping up. So a lot of credit goes to the players who've been on the bench and not been in the squad. They've not lost heart. They're still giving it 100%.
Because they could easily come on. They could have easily sulked and then come on and not given their all.
Yeah, exactly. Which we expected. I don't know, some like Shaqiri to do so, but he hasn't. And you've got to give. I mean, props to Klopp as well. I mean, like you alluded to earlier, he's blind. He's got players playing in a system rather than individuals, and when they're needed, they're stepping up.
Yeah, and they know what they're doing. They know what they've got to do. They're not going in there and, like, you can see some teams where the players, when they make changes, all the players are just looking at each other. Do you remember when Brendan Rodgers and they were all like looking at each other, what are we doing now? What are we doing? And then they're all looking at the bench asking for instructions because none of them knew what to do. But you don't ever see that. I mean, when we went behind under Brendan Rodgers, and I don't mean to have it, I'm not doing this as a dig at Brendan Rodgers because I'm just using this as because he's the easiest to remember. And, you know, the man before, so it's the easiest example for people to remember. You'd see them, we went behind, and all the players would be looking at the bench for instructions because they didn't know what to do. We go behind now, nobody looks at the bench, they just go out and score. That's what they do. They just go out and they score to get it back. And then they go and score again. And they just keep going and going and going until we've won the game. And that's it.
And that's testament to players, reserve players or bench players, working hard in training, listening in the squad. Yeah, exactly. They're doing their job. So they're doing what they're meant to be doing. They're learning every day. They're in work and they're learning every day, and they're doing a job.
It's just, I mean, you've got to say well done to Klopp as well. He's performing miracles virtually.
He really is, because you've still got to inspire these guys. You've still got to cajole these guys on a daily basis. You know what I mean? And for him to do that in the run we're going on, obviously, Klopp deserves all the plaudits. He really does. But those players deserve a lot as well. Mate, we got Watford on Saturday. Nigel Pearson's first game in charge, so I'm sure they'll use some roughhouse tactics. And
will there be any ostrich talk or anything?
Yeah.
What was that comment he made?
I have no, mate. He became really bitter at the end.
Well, his lad made the racist comments. Remember when they were in Thailand?
Yeah, but the thing is that he became very bitter at the end at Leicester.
He's a bit of a knob anyway, to be fair, Pearson. He was always a thug.
Yeah, and that's how his teams play as well. So if we can avoid the attempted murder tackles and the GBH, I think we could win on Saturday. We should have too much for them, but maybe they'll have that bounce. So let's hope that it doesn't count for anything.
I don't know. You know what? He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's inspired me to bounce. You know what I mean?
Mate,
he doesn't have that personality, does he? So
no, but he seems a bit sour. But the thing is, the Watford players asked for an English coach till the end of the season at least. That's what they wanted, and I'd have thought that there would have been
He's
somebody
just been
else
sacked by a second division Belgian side. I mean, you think they could get somebody a bit better, but then who's going to take the Watford job?
But there's plenty of managers out there
who'd take a Watford job knowing that you're going to get sacked in a few months' time. I mean, you know, you've got to be in it just for a bit of money and not worried about your reputation or anything, have you?
There's plenty of.
I'm saying there's nobody better. But you know what I mean. I'm talking about like top end coaches, like a decent coach. There's just nobody they're going to get.
Do you know what, mate? You might laugh, right? But why has George Graham not been given a job again?
His problem was because he got kicked out for cheating. Remember, you know, for the backhanders and that.
Yeah, but
you don't know.
He got exposed. I mean,
we know loads of them do it, but they didn't get caught. They didn't get actually fined. I mean, Sam Allardyce, I'm going to sue the BBC. Well, why the hell haven't you? Harry Redknapp, I'm going to sue the BBC when they exposed them. Neither of them have, because they're both guilty of sin, yet they still get jobs. It's ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
George Graham was because he's not a very well-liked person. That's the problem.
He's not very what?
Well-liked. He's not, he's
gotcha.
He's not one of the clique. It's a clique, isn't it, you know? He wasn't one of them.
I mean, I think that's... Yeah, I can understand that. But what I'm saying is that he's paid his dues. I mean, I'm very, very surprised that nobody's given him a job.
Even if it's just as ask him to come in and do some work with the
defensive
defences.
coach, yeah.
Guy's fantastic. I remember he did some stuff after he'd gone out of the game. He did some stuff on Sky, and he was doing work going through how and it was brilliant. It was eye-opening stuff. He knows his stuff. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah, and he knows how to drill a defence. He'd be say somewhere brilliant, like somewhere like Watford or Everton till the end of the season.
Yeah, or someone like Bournemouth. I mean, if Eddie Howe brought him in, they might actually keep a clean sheet
and go up the table for sure. Yeah. It's criminal that way. I mean, maybe there's more to it that we don't know about.
Like I said, he's not very well liked, so.
Gotcha. And I would have thought Wenger would have got a job by now as well.
He has. He's working for FIFA.
Yeah, I mean a coaching job.
No, he was thinking it over. He turned down a few. He got off. But the problem is, he's an old man, and most of the ones that were offering him weren't like ones that he was interested in, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
There was nothing that was really of interest to him at his age. He's in his 70s, and they were all like, is he going to have it in him to carry on? You know what I mean?
71.
Yeah, and so so FIFA come in and offered him a technical director's role, and he's taken it. It took him, he thought it over for about 6-8 months, before taking it.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't take a national team on for the World Cup. That would have been.
Yeah, he could have. I mean, I'm sure one of them would have loved him.
Yeah, exactly, mate. What's going on with Matip? What's happening with his injury? What's the story there?
He's just had a few setbacks, hasn't he? Not ready yet.
Is his scan? What does his scan reveal? Was there any damage, or does he need surgery, or is he going to be back soon?
Last I heard was just before the game. Sorry, I'm trying to find how long they said. They did put a date on it. They said, right, he should be back training in 2 weeks. They were saying then, but it's obviously he's got to get back fitness then.
Oh, that's going to take another 2 weeks.
At least, maybe even a month. We won't see him. So you're talking like it'll probably be the end of January, February.
Yeah, because he's got to get back to a Premiership fitness, and that's not going to be easy.
Man, I don't know the amount of games we got. He could come on, late substitutions or playing like League Cup game or something.
Fingers crossed, because he was playing well before he got injured, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add, mate, before we call it a day, a night?
Ooh, for us, on Liverpool, nothing I can think of. Just trying to think. No, not a night I can think of, anyway. I think that's it. I think we're done on that one.
Yeah, so I'm going to love you and leave you, and we'll
see you next Tuesday.
Get on to the next one. See you next Tuesday.